Hey everyone, welcome to the Industry Show. I'm your host Nitin Bajaj, and joining me today is Nalini Saligram. Nalini, welcome on the show.
Thank you, Nitin, for inviting me. I look forward to our conversation.
Likewise, and it's great to have you here. I know it's taken us a bit, but here you are. So let's start with who is Nalini?
Nitin, I think of myself as a slash. So I am a mother slash wife slash scientist, a public health person now, and a somebody who has a front row seat in India's development scene. So, all of that together, a global traveler in some ways, that's where my life has taken me. So, all those things are me. So, I think of myself as multiple people.
And I can attest to that having known you for a few years now. Tell us about Arogya World. Why did you start this? What is the mission? What is the vision? And most importantly, why now?
Yeah. So, I started Arogya World 13 years ago. At that time, I was working at Merck, the pharmaceutical company, and had joined it after a long trek throughout the world. And so I was really excited that I was at Merck. It was my dream to be at Merck, and I was enjoying my everyday work with scientists. I was in public affairs working on rotavirus vaccines. So my day to day work was pretty satisfying. But I was so unhappy and underutilized. And it wasn't Merck's fault, it was the stage of life I was in. I was 50 years old and I felt I wasn't doing what I was born to do. I felt I had to be more than a bit manager in a big player. I really needed to see the difference I was making in the world. So I started Arogya World, and it's probably the best decision I made in my life. I work full time pro bono, and my last paying job was at Merck, where somebody paid me. But it is still the best thing I could have done with me because I now feel I'm using all of me, my personality, my science background, my ability to talk to people, persuade people, use my science background, use my public affairs experience, and really put it all to some good in the world, because that became the biggest quest, to do something meaningful and make a meaningful contribution to global health. So Arogya World was born at that time, and our mission is to do diabetes prevention in India. And the reason we chose this was because it was a new phase of global health. I had in my life seen such great advances in HIV and its advocacy, and I'd seen so much in women's health, and now this was the time for chronic diseases. When I started Arogya, it wasn't fashionable, and now it is well known. Non-communicable diseases, NCDs, it rolls off everyone's tongue now. It's not an issue. But when I started Arogya World, it was not a big issue. And 1 month after I started Arogya, the UN called a heads of state summit the following year. So that's why I felt, this is why I had to leave Merck and do this Arogya World stuff. And it's been deeply satisfying. I'm very excited about working with like minded people and like minded organizations, and it still drives me today.
Well, and I'm glad you're driving this and you're at the helm of this and you care about this topic because give us a sense for the size of the problem and also the impact you and Arogya have been able to create over the past 13 years.
Yeah. So the problem of diabetes is really big in the world today, and especially so in India. Indians are somehow prone to diabetes in larger numbers. The risk is much higher. There must be a genetic predisposition, but we also have compounded things now with modern lifestyles. So there are 100 million diabetics in India today and 136 who are pre-diabetic. So that means they're going to get diabetes very soon. So that's like 250 million people. And we really have to do something. This has become In a crowded agenda, public health agenda for India, this has become the that everybody is now caring about and trying to do something about it. Whether it's screening or treatment, or in our case, prevention, it's all needed. In India, now, non communicable diseases are causing 2 out of 3 deaths in the world. This is true in India, in Africa, in all continents. There are more people dying from chronic diseases than from infectious diseases or maternal mortality or all the other causes combined. So, the other we should remember is that Indians get diabetes at age 30, some 10, 20 years earlier than Americans. So it is a real problem that hits people at the peak of their productive working years, and we need to find people before they're 30 in order to prevent it. So we came up with something we called a doorstep health model that takes prevention to people outside the healthcare system. So we don't expect people to go find prevention through healthy living or lifestyle change advice in the doctor's office. They're not going to get it. So, in the community setting, we take it to people right in schools, in workplaces, on their phones, on social media, in the cities, in the villages. So, we want very much to make prevention accessible. What we call this a doorstep health model. And we've reached 12.5 million people with all our programs over the last 13 years. And we have shown impact, 10 to 15% impact in at least a couple of programs. We have definitive pre-post behavior change impact, and the others, the impact story is getting done. We have not yet finalized our impact reports.
Nalini, that is a phenomenal feat to reach that many people before something like this. And this is a life changing thing. These lifestyle diseases, NCDs, are life changing. It, you mentioned this as it hits you in your 30s, your most productive next 20, 30 years. And this
Mhm.
can keep you from achieving your potential. And that scale, a quarter of the country, that is India is a very young country. It's the youngest country in the world. And for the
Mhm.
entire generation to be exposed and be predisposed to an NCD like diabetes it's I would say a threat to the entire nation. So thank you for doing what you do.
Yeah. So the thing that we can all think about is that, hey, India is at its economic best, if you want to call it that. It's on the world stage. Everyone's looking up to India, and the future is golden. But if unless India tackles diabetes and diseases like diabetes and the complications of diabetes, it's really all the energy in India's startups and all the future is going to get wiped out, and it's going to become zero unless all these heads of startups start taking care of diabetes in their young workforce.
So true. And also, just to bring about this point, I believe the 250 odd are the ones that have been tested and are known cases. There may be
Yeah,
more. In India,
correct.
the biggest challenge is if I don't get tested, if I don't go see a doctor, I don't know what's causing these issues. So there is a fair percentage that may not be accounted for in this number.
Yeah. And that is actually one of the focus areas for the government. They're doing a lot of screening and a lot of referrals so that at least people know their diabetes status. Diabetes and hypertension, they're screening for that.
So, Nalini, I'm curious to hear at this massive scale of operation and outreach that Arogya and the team is doing, when you step back and look at the big picture, what is the one big challenge you would like to call out?
Yeah. So when I think about things, Nitin, I really feel for a small organization where 24 people or so, we punch above our weight. We are reaching large numbers. We actually got a UN award for the reach and the programs that we do. So we are getting to be known for program and impact. But where we are struggling, I can use the word struggling, is in fundraising. Somehow, for some reason, maybe because I'm a scientist, we don't know how to raise funds. And that has become, for us now, a roadblock to how much we can grow or scale. If we have more funds, we can do more. We can hire more people. We can talk to more governments, and we can scale. So funding has become a real challenge. We just yesterday came to know that we've got FCRA approval in India now. So that should be a huge weight off our shoulders and should really help us raise funds now better. We can be more competitive, both India and US. So I'm looking forward to the next few years to sorting this funding question as well. But it has, for nonprofits, particularly small ones, it is a existential threat.
First off, congratulations on the recognition from the UN and also the approval. It's a lot of work to get that done. So
It is. Yeah.
congratulations. And I do want to call this out. Small is a relative term. You
Mhm.
are reaching more than 1 million people a year and consistently growing. So I would take that with a pinch of salt, calling you small.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nalini, on the flip side of challenges are opportunities. And I would love to hear the one that you're most excited about.
Right now, Nitin, I feel we have finished the proof of concept stage and we have entered the scaling stage. So, at least two of our programs, the school program where we teach adolescent kids through games and activities the basics of healthy living, and we are getting at least 15-20% improvement in knowledge as well as behaviors. So, that's a very exciting program. And the other one is our text message program, M Diabetes, where we send text messages on healthy living for 6 months, twice a week. And we had first done it with Nokia, and now we have other partners with whom we are reaching. Both these programs are ready for scale. And this is the most exciting thing for me. Every day, we're deeply thinking about how to scale, who to partner with, how to talk to Karnataka, how to talk to Punjab, who can we work with. And this is beyond the science part of things because the proof of concept is done, according to me. So now it's a question of really persuading people to partner with us. Some of them I also think of as not just mere expansion to millions more, it is actually also bringing down costs per beneficiary so that we can truly scale, right? When you can, if you're increasing the cost, then you're not scaling. You have to reduce cost and increase size, and you reach, and then you have scale. So we're thinking all of that through. It's very exciting. Scaling, scalability, and sustainability, and it truly is occupies a good part of the day for me and for all my team. It's not just me. We're all in it thinking about how to make everybody a change maker, how to use technology as a platform technology, how to increase the impact, because we are not happy with what we've done. It's just a tiny drop in the bucket. Plus, we all really believe that what we have achieved or developed in India can translate to other parts of the world, particularly the Middle East and Mexico. And we feel culturally what we have done will work in those regions. So, want to see what more we can do in my lifetime.
All super exciting. And I'm glad you're in the, not just in the thick of it, but also driving the leading edge. So
Thank
looking
you.
forward
Mhm.
to many more successes from you to come. Now, I would love to pause a little bit and look back in the rearview mirror and have you share some experience from your life and career where things either did not meet your expectations or became a success beyond your imagination.
Yeah, yeah. So let me give you a couple thoughts on this. I recently was invited to give a TEDx talk, and I used to debate in college, so I was like, oh, no problem, I can do this. So I went to Pune. It was in TEDx in Pune. So I went to Pune and worked with everybody else. And then I realized that everyone else had prepared so they were buttoned up in their speeches, and mine was not. So they had given, they had assigned a coach to me, and from that coach I actually learned so many life lessons on that last day before the speech. The final speech went fine, but oh my god, I worked harder than I've ever worked in my life. It wasn't enough to just know the points. Of course, I know Arogya's story, but it was important to articulate it well and properly. And it was a lot of work. And I felt like I have, yeah, eighth grade, I'm back taking an exam. So it ended up teaching me so much about hard work and perfection, and why in some situations 90% is not good enough. You have to strive for more. So that was good. I also want to mention two things that I am really happy that it has fallen in our laps. One is the Ashoka Fellow. It has been a very rewarding group of people to belong to. The selection process is very tough and necessarily so. It has been a very rewarding experience. And the other one is something we came up with in November 2022. And we made Bangalore India's first Arogya city. So it's a way of working with others and getting people to volunteer to do something about the city they love and improve the health of the citizens in a collaborative fashion, making pledges publicly so that everyone can follow the progress of the pledges. So it has been very rewarding to do that. And I feel that is scalable in a different way, even just working together in coalitions. The World Health Organization was so excited because they said, we have this healthy city concept for 30 years, but it's sitting in the library shelf, and here you are running with things. And so that is exciting.
That is super exciting. And I do want to make a note of this for a scientist to be so humble about the challenge of delivering your own story that you're living. That shows a lot of humility. So thank you for sharing that moment.
Yeah.
Nalini, what do you do for fun?
I am always every day in a continuum between Arogya World and my family and my life and my friends. So my family is always making fun of me that, oh, don't talk to mom, she's in Arogya World. It is a continuum for me. My friends are our donors sometimes, and our donors become our friends sometimes. So it's just my life is one whole day in which there is work and there is home, and it's all mixed up. So I enjoy spending time with my family. I have two daughters and now a granddaughter. And so we enjoy that. I travel a lot with my husband as well as for work. And I truly love throwing dinner parties. Enjoy that. Enjoy having 8 or 10 people at home. And I work very hard for my dinners.
And it's a true joy when you found your passion and the work you want to do. And it just becomes one life where you're not having to choose in between. It's just one full day where you can go back and forth and not even realize the difference. So, congratulations
Yes.
to
Yeah.
you for having achieved that.
Yeah, really. I really do enjoy that. In fact, every day I feel privileged that I get to do what I do. Jump out of bed and you can't wait for the work to begin. That is very, very exciting for me. Every day is an adventure.
That is amazing. Now, you mentioned something that is in our playbook, the one line life lessons. I would love for you to
Mhm.
share some of your life lessons with us and our audience.
Yeah, let me see. I've lived a long life already. I was 50 plus when I started Arogya World. So for me, uh, age is a matter of attitude. You can be 50 and very young, and you can be 20 and very old. So it's a question of how the zest for life and to enjoy every aspect of life and work. That to me makes me young even now. So that's one thing, is that age I think is irrelevant. The other would be opportunistic. That can become your life strategy. So if you look at Arogya World, we had not planned its thing. There are many things that are the same today that was when we started, which is the mission and the vision. We still work in diabetes prevention through healthy living, and all of that is constant, and we work with partners, so all of that is okay. But we grabbed opportunities, and I myself have grabbed in my life opportunities, and if I had thought through my career, perhaps I'd have been very frustrated. So it's important to make use of whatever comes your way and not worry that it is not part of your life strategy. And then another one would be use your platform very well. So every single person in the world has a platform of influence, a sphere of influence. You can influence maybe 3 people or 3 million people, but hey, use it, because you will have followers, especially if you're authentic and a leader, and especially if you are not, if you put on airs and graces, people will see through it. So being authentic is very important, and living a life of purpose is probably, I was very sure I wanted to leave a legacy. I wanted to do something with my life. It has to count for something more than what I had achieved until then, even now. So I keep on working to do something useful and meaningful and improve the world in some tangible way.
Nalini, thank you. And you're making more than just a small tangible difference. You are positively impacting millions of lives, and you're just getting started, as you said. So the momentum is picking up. You're touching more lives every year than the previous year. So, congratulations again on the journey so far. And I know many more successes are to come. So, thank you again for making time to be with us, to share your journey, your story, and your life lessons with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Look forward to getting to know you well, and thank you for inviting me for this.